So I wanted to add this to the video just really quickly to show you how to use a graphing calculator. And this is the exact same problem that we just did in the linear programming video. It's just showing you how to do this on a graphing calculator. So here I am on google.com, and I can kind of switch over here so you can see this is the problem that we were just working on for the linear programming. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go back and watch that video so that you can actually see what's going on here, because there's quite a lot happening in this problem. So if I go to here, and I'm going to go to desmos.com. So this is how it opens. So this is what it looks like, and I'm just going to click on Graphing Calculator. So this is automatically what it looks like, and you can make this field bigger, or you can zoom in. You can do all kinds of things with this. I think you can drag it around depending on the type of mouse you have. Like if you have a touchpad, you can zoom in and out with your fingers, you know, where you kind of pinch or push out, things like that. So over here, this is where we type in the equations or inequalities. So the first inequality there, the first constraint they gave us was x is greater than or equal to 3. And I actually was doing that. I know the keyboard commands to do the greater than or equal to. If you don't know the keyboard commands, there's this little keyboard button down here. Oh, darn it, go back down. It's not letting me click on it. There we go. And so you can click on them straight from here as well. So if you don't know all the keyboard commands, and I'm not going to necessarily teach everybody that right now because it's not super important, but it's a little convenient. But you can always click on them straight from here. So you can see what happened when I've typed this in. So it automatically gave me that shaded area. Here's x is at 3, so we can see that point is 3 and 0, and it shaded everything greater than that. And now we're going to go y is greater than or equal to, and it was 2 for that problem. So now you can see that it's shading everything above that line. So it went to 0, 2, so y is 2, and everything above that is shaded blue. And we can already see that there's an area here that's mixing. So I can already tell this is going to be part of my solution area. And then they also gave us a third constraint, so it was 6x plus 7y is less than or equal to 74. And this one was not a nice one to necessarily use for slope-intercept form. So I ended up using, I plugged in 3 for x and solved for y, and then I plugged in 2 for y and solved for x. And it just told me what, actually not that point, it told me what these points were going to have to be for these ones. So if I plug in 3 for x, I'm going to get 8 for y. If I plug in 2 for y, I'm going to get 10 for x. And what those are telling me, those aren't the solutions. It's telling me what it has to be less than. So the x has to be less than 2 and y has to be less than 8 for these to work. So that's part of the constraint system. So it's just a way I did that problem. Again, I walk through that much slower in the actual video, so you can go back and see how I did that by watching that video. But on this one, it's very easy to identify because I can even click on these and it automatically tells me what these 3 vertices are, which is exactly what we needed to solve that problem. So this is why I wanted to go back and give you a tutorial very quickly on Desmos. You can type in pretty much any equation you can think of here, and it's going to graph it for you, and then you can find relevant information. Now, it's not going to calculate the minimum and maximum for us. We would have to go back and calculate that on our own, just like we did in the table before where I'm plugging in the 3 points. But Desmos can help me get those points very quickly. So again, I hope that helped. Just kind of introduction to using graphing calculators, and I think we're going to start using them a bit more for the next couple of problems. So I'll see you in the next video. Alright, so I was going to show how to use the ALEKS graphing calculator on this same video, although I don't think that it works as nicely as the online one that I just showed for Desmos, because you can't type in x is greater than 0 or x is less than a number. You have to actually focus on the y inequalities. You also have to solve any inequality for y, so it has to be in y equals mx plus b format before you can use it. And then you will draw in the x constraints. So like x is greater than 0 or x is less than 40 is another one that we are going to do in a word problem in a little bit. So you'd have to draw those in, and then you would also have to use another draw feature to actually look at the shaded region. So I don't think it's as intuitive, as nice to use as Desmos.com. So I would highly recommend that you try to use something along those lines just to make it a little easier instead of having to work with kind of the technology working against you there. So, all right, anyway, I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next video.